Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are taking a look at SynthMaster 3 and we're going to do some patch design using vector synthesis and some of the really interesting stuff you can do with vector synthesis. Okay, so we've got just a initialized patch and I am going to go in here where it says oscillator 1, layer 1, oscillator 1. I'm going to go to this little menu here and change this with, so replace with a vector oscillator. Now you'll see we have 4 different waveforms in the 4 different corners of our vector. So, and these are your pitch numbers, basically your integer numbers. I'm going to change all this. So for this first one, I'm going to select the sine wave. And then this one, I'm also going to select a sine wave, and this one a sine wave, and this one a sine wave. So we have 4 sine waves, but at 4 different integers. Now, if we want to change the pitch of this, so say, for example, we wanted this one to be 7 semitones up, we go to semitones and choose the semitones we want. So we're getting a 5th now just on this one. But if we want to go back to its normal tone, just go to the integer and select number 3. No, that was it, 1, 2, number 2. You can have it on 3, but it'll just sound exactly the same as this one. So we'll set this to number 2 for now. And go to our ADSR menu. I'm going to increase the release here. And I'm going to change the type to ProFat. This doesn't matter, it's just personal preference. And on the filter here, I'm going to replace this with a virtual analog filter. Super duper. Then I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit. And I'm going to increase the number of voices to 4. And I'm going to detune, spread, and pan spread these. So if you're wearing headphones, you'll hear that these have been spread out across the stereo field. So you've created quite a nice sound. We can drift these as well, if you want to get that kind of analog drift, oscillator drift vibe. So now I'm going to, and this is why I've kept these the same. We can obviously change these waveforms in the 4 corners of it to anything we like, including samples. But just for this, I'm going to leave these on sines. I'm going to add another node here, so I'm going to add another module. So add a LFO, and I'm going to add in another LFO as well. Okay, so on this first LFO, I'm going to hook this up to modulate the x-axis. So I'm just going to pick it up here and drop it on the x-axis, and now you will see that we are moving along here with our sine. I'm going to slow this down in a sec. In fact, I'm going to actually I'm going to leave the phase where it is. And then on this second LFO, I'm going to put this on the y-axis. Okay, but I'm going to change the phase of this second LFO. Okay, I'm going to adjust the speed on both of these. Now you'll see that each time I press the key, it's going to reset the LFOs. That's not the kind of behavior I want for this particular patch. So on LFO1, I'm going to choose the trigger menu and hit global. And also I'm going to do the same for LFO2. I'm going to choose global. And now what will happen is whatever keys I play, this is just going to continually run the LFO through the actual vectors. Very nice. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit now. So this is layer 1. I'm going to tap on the little gear icon here and copy layer 1. Now I could also, I think there's a way for me to duplicate the layer. So if I tap on this now, duplicate layer 1, and it'll just give me an exact same copy, an exact copy. So if I solo this one, I have the same as layer 1. That's kind of obvious right now. We have two different modes, 1 dimension, 2 dimension. So I'm going to change layer 1, which is actually layer 2 now. So I'm going to change the name of that. Just let me get my keyboard a sec. Otherwise, I'll start to get confused. Okay, because don't forget that layer 2 is just a copy of layer 1. So let's just change that to layer 2. Okay, enter that. And now just keeping yourself a little bit more organized. I'm going to change this to 1D. So now we have layer 1 here, which is the normal 2-dimensional thing. And then this is the 1-dimensional thing. I don't know what it means, but there you go. You can see the difference. So now it's all going to be very slightly different. And if we go to layer 2 now and we slightly change up the waveform, let's put these on a triangle, which is not dissimilar to a sine, but now you'll get a different feeling. And we can change the speed of layer 2's LFOs as well. So let's go to LFO 1. And we'll go to LFO 2. But you'll see on layer 1, our speed is still slow. So now we've created this quite nice kind of lovely kind of evolving patch, which just sounds great. Now the cool thing is we could go to layer 2, look at the LFO. We can choose different types. I mean, there's tons and tons of different types of LFOs. We could have LFO shapes, you know, or we could just say, well, let's go with a factory basic triangle. Or maybe an expansion. Factory is obviously better for this, I think. So the volume is basically the amount. That sounds quite nice. But say, for example, on LFO, we could just go in and completely just redesign our own LFO here. So let's see, let's take this down. Let's add another point here. Double tap there. And grab all of this here. Put another point in here. So this is a new shape of LFO we're using for LFO 1. Our LFO 2 is this one, but we could let's slow LFO 2. LFO 2 down. So this is layer 2 now. We can unsolo it and control our volume a bit. Detune it a little bit more, layer 1. Nice. And then you can go on and on. You can add up to 16 layers. But we need some effects, right? So I'm going to go into my mix view here. I'm going to go to FX bus. On our FX bus 1, I'm going to use FX bus. So I'm going to put on, obviously, some reverb. And I'm going to turn up FX bus 1 for both of these so we can hear the effect. I'm going to and I can control the amount of that reverb for either of those layers now. But this is saving a bit on your CPU, so because you're using an effects bus. Let's have a layer. We could put on effects bus 1, but let's put a delay on effects bus 2. This is already turned up, so oh no, it's not, sorry. Now this is just gonna affect layer 2. Let's have it ping pong. And let's change the delay times. I'm particularly into 1/8 dotted for delays, maybe quarter dotted for the second one. So yeah, nice. That's nice. Let's turn the mix up a little bit for that. So now we've got 2 different types of delay, but only on layer 2. Very nice. Go back to our synth view, and really you can do anything you like now. You could add in another type of filter if you want, so maybe add in a comb filter. Now we're going to have to route it because don't forget SynthMaster 3 is like a modular, so let's put it in after filter 1 and let's just have a play around with that. Let's turn filter 1 off. So no, I'll put it in filter 3, that's okay though. Comb. Oh, that's nice. Don't forget this is layer 2. That's better. Listen to this now with filter 1. So holding chords is really cool because now you're going to hear all this cool vector stuff going on. We can go into our mixer actually and balance this stuff properly. And maybe just go back to our synth view on layer 1, we'll just apply an effect directly to the synth. So we'll go effect, right click, and what would be nice, maybe a phaser. Let's solo layer 1. Do that a bit more because of the filter. Because don't forget these are sines. Turn down a more aggressive layer. Very nice. And of course, so much more you can do. We could stick a, what's this sound like, Alan? Awesome stuff. Maybe you want to go and add an LFO. Maybe we could go into our cone filter one and add, let's see. Oh. Could add an LFO to that. Let's just quickly add a new LFO. You could add step LFO, noise LFO. We'll just add an ordinary LFO. I'm just going to put that on a frequency. So you pick it up here, move it to where you want to modulate. I'm going to turn the noise level down so that basically the amount it's going to affect it. Oh, that's weird. But in a good way. And if you want to, of course, you can go and make your own LFO. And then when you're done, I think that's really good, I do. I think it's a really good patch. Very nice. Tons of really cool stuff you can do though with the vectors. Now, most of what I've done here, in fact, pretty much all of what I've done here, you can do with SynthMaster 2. As well, because I haven't added more than 2 layers, but I could go in, and once I had another layer in here, then I'm getting into the realms of I can only do this with SynthMaster 3. But vector synthesis is really cool. Of course, you can just control this stuff by hand, or you can assign it to a Midi controller. When you start, you're playing some lead or you hold a chord, you're going to get all the movement. And that's really cool. Brilliant stuff. And then, of course, when you're finished with what you are doing, you can go and save your preset. So I'm just going to hit save this and call it. I'll add it to my presets. I'll call it TSTR fun with vectors. Fun with vectors. Save this, and if I go in, save now. Fun with vectors. If I go into my browser and I drill down TSTR, enter. My Fun with Vectors has been added, and that was another one I was playing with called Vector Scope. I can't remember what that sounded like, but I shall play it anyway. But it won't be dissimilar. But I think what I did with this one was use some different waveforms. So I still use the comb though. And I used 4 layers on this, so I couldn't do this on SynthMaster 2. I had a custom wavetable made. And all sorts of stuff going on. This was a vector, and this one was as well. But I had different waveforms instead of the same waveform. And I thought that just changing the pitch on these was just changing a waveform and the pitch on the other one was a really good way to go about things. Anyway, top job, cool beans. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Link in the description for all the SynthMaster stuff. And I will see you guys later. Ta-ra!